supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
You can do this, but you don't know who you are. I know who you are. You're gone. You quit. We won't see you again. Ha, ha, ha.
Remember, you heard it right here from Detecto Rizzo Mac. Peace.
Eve, just Eve.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Sunday. And, well, happy December. I know it's been a minute since I've been live with you, my faithful few, at least live by myself. I have been maintaining my shows with Marie and with Dr. Winters on their respective days. And a little bit of housekeeping real quick. If you tune into Millennials Adulting, we're taking a little bit of a break, but we'll be back in January. It is the holiday season. Both of us are moms, and it is time to be with family. And really, it is time to be with family, but then, you get on the internet and you see some shit, and you're like, I might need to say something about that because, oh man, all of the conversation already, so much conversation. And then, are we having the right conversations? I've been told that I'm very critical of things. I've been told that I'm extremely judgmental of Black America. I blame it on the elders. I find that a lot of how I feel is based off of, well, number one, I'm very angry that I have to fight a fight that could have been fought a long time ago, could have been fought and won, or fought and lost. I mean, shit, can we get to some closure, America? Like, why is foundational Black America just lingering over America? If they're not going to cut the check, they're not going to give us what's owed to us, they're not going to make it easy. Why can't they just do it the easier way, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at the rest of the world, every single indigenous population that has melanin has been wiped off of the map. I mean, if they are not wiped off of the map, they have been renamed, rebranded in their European, at least their non-spicy version, European version, all of the countries in Africa outside of Ethiopia. And then I know some of you more educated brothers and sisters out here, y'all even know more about Ethiopia than I do, but just with my little bits of information, I would give Ethiopia the credit that maybe y'all say that it doesn't deserve. I'd give Sudan some credit if they paid attention to Nubia. I don't know. The continent is having some issues, identity crises, and fleas. It's so funny because a lot of people who come here, right, from the continent, they talk about all of this work that they do and all of their ingenuity, creativity, resilience, and hard work. But damn if they don't use any of that work ethic at home. It's like if we get told to pull up our bootstraps and put on your big girl panties, your big boy panties, just fucking deal. It's America. We're all Americans, Eve. But if we're all Americans, why aren't the rules applied the same way? Why is it that we're having different conversations? If we're all Americans, why isn't the math mathing? That's been my mantra of sorts. I'm going to have to get off of it because I find that, you start speaking things into existence. Really, truly, you say something in your head, you say it out loud, and then voila, it's tangible. It's something that you can see and touch. And I joked about this a little while ago, but I meant it with all of my being when we said cut the check, and them motherfuckers cut the check. And it was a stimulus check for everybody who doesn't make a certain amount of money. Not only did they spit in our face, literally spit in Black America's face, like, hey, we know who you are. How do we know who you are? Because if you didn't make this much money, you got a check in the easiest way. They didn't have to look for you. You filed your taxes at some point and your last known address got a check. Or, oh, you're not a Luddite, so you've been doing things online. They found you. They deposited $1,200 stimulus check into your account, and all was right in the world. All was so right in the world that some of you niggas said that Black America should vote Republican because it was a Republican who was giving the monies to the people who needed it. Silly niggas. And silly, foolish white people too. It's I use nigga in the wrong way, and we're gonna get to this usage of the word nigga because it is in our ability to call everything one thing that gives all of these people room to breathe. What's going on in the chat? What's going on, Spirit Wonder? Hey, all the way free. D Griff, people who like to exist in the shadows, they absolutely hate and love being discussed. I don't know if that's the correct for the fat back authority, but y'all are more than welcome to tag him as many times as you'd like, because tonight when Fat Joe said what he said, right? And he not only did he fuck up FBA, like, I don't want to go on a whole bunch of tangents, but D Griff, you kind of got me off topic a little bit, just off schedule, as much as we're going to get to a lot of different things. And the comfort level of some people and their usage of our words and being in our spaces, it is a self-inflicted wound. I can't say any other thing. If Black America really gave a damn, we would have handled a lot of this stuff a long time ago. It is what I started with. I am very angry that I have to have conversations with America about the plight of Black America, because there should be no plight of Black America. There should be one America. Really, when you look up people's origins and who people really are behind their persona that is given to the world, entertainers have identities. They are not just who you see on camera. You find that, a lot of times, maybe 5 to 7 years ago, you could look up a person, you would find out that their parent was born in the Dominican Republic, the other parent was born in Bermuda, and they were born here in the Bronx. You might find that, one parent, nothing is known about them, but the other parent is a Black American, and as such, because they only knew one parent, they've been reared as a Black American. And then you've got these others like Fat Joe. Fat Joe. Fat Joe. Okay. First things first. Huh? Did you see what I did there? Okay, I'm sorry. Antonio Cartagena. I'm sorry. Joseph Antonio Cartagena was born August 19th, 1970. And Wikipedia and any other site classifies him as an American. And this is where point number one is going to have to come into play, because birthright citizenship is going to have to be something of the past. I'm sorry. There's too many instances of people being born here who might not have been classified as us if there were no loopholes. There were no trick bag language. There was no system that is designed to keep the indigenous niggas on the bottom. That permanent underclass that Dr. Anderson talks about. Y'all talk about powernomics. Y'all talk about powernomics till you're blue in the face, but you don't celebrate Kwanzaa. And I know you're not African, right? It's, oh, that's a Pan-African holiday eve. They got the red, black, and green, and we not flat black and okay, look, but you powernomics me to death with these talking points that you're not practicing. Okay, people have complicated stories, right? They make the best stories. Y'all have never wanted to read a story about a hero or a villain and they were boring. You can't give me any instance of anybody paying attention to a story where the character didn't have some flaws. Now, inside of that, people be people in, right? And y'all know, again, if you've been listening to me for any real length of time, and speaking of time, over the past year, we've got over 100,000 views. That's pretty fucking cool. And yeah, I know the likes don't necessarily match up. The subscriber count doesn't necessarily match up, but that's okay because I know that haters gonna hate. And well, tonight I expect there to be some haters in the audience because, whether you are a fat Joe sycophant or a flat black fraudulent business associate, it's a conversation that needs to be held, and needs to be held this year. Because in the year of exposure, some things got exposed and then y'all moved on. I teach Sunday school. It's not church, but it's like church. Every Sunday, at least it used to be every Sunday, I have a life. I've got these mini midgets running around and they are needing lots of things. And me being on the internet for lots of time is not one of these things as much as they do like it. They do like me being able to speak truth to power because it is what they learn in school. If you hear many midgets in the background sounding like they're going to war, they probably are. That's what they do. And, it's a winter break, so I'll allow it. Actually, I think the daddy just went upstairs to make them be quiet. So shout out to the black fathers in the audience, and shout out to the black fathers who are not in the audience, because y'all be making this shit make sense. Okay, that was a segue. That unnecessary segue. Anyway, let's get back to fatbacks. Fat Joe. While I'm living my life, and a lot of you guys were living your lives off the internet, you get on the internet, you are checking in with your peoples, you are wishing happy birthday to the people who you've met on the internet. You're doing the internet thing, and you happen across Fat Joe, and not only are you like, you got a new song or something, or like, what's going on? But you click on it and you find that he's got all sorts of things to say. And what the fuck? Because at the end of the day, FBA, I've never heard it outside of people that also are online. Now, you can agree with me or not, but we're not going to agree to disagree. I can't prove any instance of a person using FBA or Foundational Black America in life unless they've heard it online. Now, with that being said, I've been very consistent. I think that World War III, the revolution, will not be televised. No, because it's on the internet. It's not TV anymore. It is in the information sharing age that we're going to be fighting a lot of these battles. And if you're not ready, if you haven't been prepared, if you don't have the armor that we try to help you out with in Sunday school, yes, that was a plug. And yes, Sunday school is taking enrollments if you are interested. It's family friendly. It doesn't have to be for your mini midget, but if you have a mini midget, they're not learning this shit at school. And for real, a lot of y'all are not teaching this shit when they're not in school, because you want them to be children. You want them to have a life. You want them to not think about Tamir Rice. You don't want to think about Trayvon. You don't want them thinking or knowing about Emmett Till. But damn, Do you think that Travis would be so young and in love if he was taught the story of Emmett Till? Because a lot of superficial conversations have happened as a result of Travis Hunter. Is that his name? Y'all can see how much I follow football. Yeah, all right. So y'all got this man's name in your mouths, but you're not even talking about the things. Travis Hunter conversation is the Emmett Till conversation, is the if you are unaware of your surroundings, you will get got. It is the if it were a snake, it would have bit you. But if you're not having leveled conversations, if you're not comfortable using the language that they told us, that they kept from us, the language that's ours, you're going to have to start tuning into Dr. Winters to learn some of this preliminary information, because I find that in the preliminary information, the rest of it just smooth, like butter. But okay, yeah, we doing plant-based. A lot of y'all are more conscious about what we're eating. We not doing dairy, so maybe can't be smooth like butter no more, but it is smooth. The synapses and connections just flow. And I'm not a person that has bars. I think that is a Black American skill that is born in you, and you could come for somebody's black card if they can't flow. But don't come for mine. I got no bars. I just think that it is the ease of information sharing and making connections between different things that have allowed us to exist in 2024. We had Sunday school earlier today, and I talked to the students about how we are a one-off, and it is disrespectful. It is respectful. It is all of the things and none of the things. We're not supposed to be here. So whether you identify as a freedman, a Black American indigenous to this land, an Aboriginal melanated person, a Negro, because your birth certificate says that and your parents have been here as long as you've been here. If you is just a nigga because your people is just niggas and y'all don't know who the fuck you are, but you know that you've been there, that's part of our debt. The fact that we don't have an identity that we can all agree on. If you look at Black America with regards to the rest of the melanated world, all of these other people have accepted their colonizers' identity with glowing and swooping and sweeping accolades and love, affection and admiration. And as much as Black America are the most loving niggas on the planet, we are the most sharing, the most humanitarian, the most all of it, all the lovey gushy shit. That's us. As much as that is us, we have not, I'm going to say it one more time. We have not accepted these niggas' name for us and said, no, fuck that. I'm going to name myself. I mean, African American has only been on paper for us in the last 50 years, if that. I want to say maybe it is as old as me, and I'm not 50, right? Y'all know I'm an old lady, but I'm not that old. I'm not as old as the Fat Back Authority, and I'm definitely not as old as Fat Joe, but I think that African American is younger than them and older than me. It puts it at about 40 years old. Talk to any Black American whose family has never been to Africa or any other melanated country on the planet. They are here. They've been here. They don't know where they from, but they know that they ain't never been to Africa. They know ain't never been to Jamaica. They from here. Talk to any of those people, and they will tell you that they didn't say that they wanted to be African American. I mean, who was it recently that I was talking about? Trick Daddy? Was it Trick Daddy? I think it's Trick Daddy who was saying he ain't never been to no Africa. And then it just reminds me of school days. But then y'all niggas miss the levels because what's that Mexican's name? Guy, the chicken man. There's a nigga, he's my favorite tether, tether. He was the nigga in School Days, and he was the chicken man on, Gus. What the fuck is his name though? There we go. Giancarlo Esposito. That's my favorite tether. I think we're allowed. I think we're allowed to have favorites. You know, y'all got favorite zaddies and shit, and we're not going to talk about any favorite zaddies over here. I do like Vincent D'Onofrio. I think that is a fucking weird-ass white dude, and I think that every weird-ass character he's played has been excellent at it. But we're not talking about weird white niggas as much as we are talking about fat backs and fat Joes and sloppy Joes and flat black and, well, all around the mulberry bush. The monkey chases the weasel. And look, what's wrong with being a monkey? No, I'm just playing. Okay, I was about to show you a clip. I lost the clip because I started talking about things, made me think about some other things, but let's just go to here. Hey, look, if you're new here, hit the likes or hit the bell, because that's cool. And if you're not new here, what up, nigga? Okay. Some of y'all are not actual niggas, white people. It's cool.
These rumors were...
If you're white and you listen to me, I think that's impressive, but I only think it's impressive in the form and fashion of y'all be studying us. And we're going to get to that tonight, too.
These rumors were made by radical black racists. Let's just say that.
Let's just say this. What is a black racist? Nobody's been able to give me or anybody who's ever asked the question a definition, because anytime that they start talking, it is prejudice. It is bigotry. It is just general disdain, but it is not racism. So, you know, I absolutely fucking hate the fact that as adults, we have to do some things that might make you feel like you're not smarter than a fifth grader. But, you know, you gotta laugh at some of this shit. Society tried to warn you. Society tried to give you clues about where we were going as a people. I mean, from Idiocracy, which that movie is retarded. And I mean that. I'm not playing. I'm not mincing my words here. The movie is retarded, but it is showing the retardation and stunted growth of America if certain things don't happen. And by golly, flash forward to today, some of these things haven't happened, and look at how stuck on stupid we are. If you didn't check out Stuck on Stupid, I talked with one of our good teachers, Sister Shahrazad Ali, about how stuck on stupid Black America is. It's in the history. You should check it out. But as adults, some of y'all are past learning. Some of y'all feel like you've learned as much as you're going to learn, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But then, out of the same mouth, you will say that you understand that Black America is owed. You will even say that we're owed reparations. I'm going to call cap. On December 22nd, 2024, I call cap on every single person who says that we are owed a debt, but has not done the things to make the debt get paid. Bring these things to fruition. Teaching an old dog new tricks. It's possible. It's discipline. But yeah, we have to ensure that we're having the same conversation, because again, as adults in the room, we feel like we know what the fuck we're talking about. Right. We have to look some of this shit up, and I hated that, right? That look it up. Don't y'all hate that? You know, like you're listening to somebody and then out of nowhere, you're not smart enough to listen to me. Look the definition up of this big ass word that nobody's used in 700 years because I have the time to look things up because, well, fans, you know, those freaky ass niggas, they stay inside. Look, the art is always going to give you a glimmer, at least a glimpse inside of reality. And if you want to pick it up, you can. If you don't, you want to ignore it, you just want to bop to the beat because the rhythm is smooth, like butter, then, you know, that's cool too, because leveled, Black America is leveled. But if we want the math to math, then we're going to have to do some things that maybe we weren't expecting to do. I'm 37 years old and never in my life, never in 30 years of my life did I think that I would have to be fighting for my rights. And in 2024, you have a woman who looks just like me fighting for the right to kill babies. You've got a woman who looks just like me fighting for other people's rights. The math ain't mathin'. And I'm sorry, Black America, I'm sorry. I said that shit because things weren't making sense in my life. I mean, like, I'm listening to supposed authority on things, and Black America is no better off for it, as much as, well, if you don't have the time to read the dictionary, well, now you've got a person who's very comfortable using some antiquated words, some archaic expressions in order to, I don't know, make the crowd wake up or something. I'm not sure. I never liked teachers like that as much as I do understand the approach. And I do understand that, I mean, most of us haven't read a book since school. You haven't actually read anything for leisure or for pleasure because nobody told you to. Take it a step further and just say that in general, as little midgets, you know, as little people before you turn into the very big person that you are today, most of y'all didn't read for pleasure then. You read because they told you to read. You had to read. It was part of the assignment. If you didn't read it, you wouldn't have been able to answer the questions. Or bare minimum, you read enough to get the answers, and that was the extent of your reading. Now we've got the people who sat in the back of the classroom who hid from the teacher, hosting spaces, having podcasts and shows, and hundreds of thousands of people listen to them. Or thousands of people listen multiple times. You know, I understand why some things happen. And then when you apply the same principles to other instances and it doesn't happen, I'm the dumbass that says out loud, the math ain't mathin'. But it's like I wasn't reared on Disney movies. You guys, like, I watched Aladdin. It was one of my favorite ones. And with the genie in the bottle, you have to be extremely specific. You can't just say cut the check, because they will cut a check. And because you weren't specific about the needs of the people who need said check, well, you get a check and you get a check and everybody gets a check, right? Because that's kind of what happened. I mean, I'm sorry, to you upper echelon niggas, you boule or not, or just, you know, you've been able to do the things and be that identifier, that token, if you will. And I don't mean that disparagingly. If you need more help understanding what token means, you can check out one of the reality checks for me and Dr. Winters from this past year. But the token, the person who has the ability to grant access to the block, the nigga who brings the block up with them. You know, Kendrick said it on GNX. What song was it? I think the song is Reincarnated, and he is having the conversation with the spirit or with God or with himself, but a spirit, the conversation part of the song. And he's talking about his good deeds. He's put money into these institutions. He's helped these people come up. He's even gone as far as trying to stop the wars. But oh, you foolish nigga. Did you really do these things for the reasons that you said that you did these things? Because you might have done these things, but context, why? A lot of us want to skip the why. When we skip the why, we don't understand. And I know we don't actually have time. We really don't. I'm learning that I don't have time to get angry. I don't have time to negative anything, because all it does is waste more time. Like if you think about it, when you're driving in your car, and I'm talking about like now, this is I'm not talking about pre-navigation and navigation and GPS and stuff. I'm talking about now. You're in your car and you're lost. Y'all still turn the radio down. You still do everything in your ability to heighten your senses. When one thing is lacking, you do your best to try to make up for it. But then we don't apply these principles to our actual lives, and then the math ain't mathin', and then you start saying stuff out loud knowing that energy is spelling, is the things that we say are what we're thinking about, are the things that come into fruition. Are we being specific about what it is? And then if we are we cognizant of when the needle has moved? Because if you're not, then maybe you continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, thinking that nothing's changed. That might be insanity. I talked with my students about this earlier today. At some point, y'all got told, we and y'all got told that the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. But listen to the trick, because Black America has a very hard time focusing on one thing. Black America can't even get together and agree on the fact that we have lots of different identifiers with regards to our name. Black America has been asked a bunch of different times what it is that we want, and the answer has changed a bunch of different times. Not only have we been saying that they need to cut the check, we will bend when they cut a check for people if we fit the criteria of those people. Niggas is so inflicted with Americanism, and Americanism is this amalgamation of things and ideas and people. It's all imaginary though. It's the Matrix. What's her name? Sophie. She's on Twitter. Y'all should check her out. The maker of the Matrix. When y'all go into the levels of the art that people like to watch and stuff, I don't know if we're in a reality where it's imitating us or if we're imitating it, or if it's a little bit of both. And if you can imagine that we can do things that we can't do because somebody said we could do it, wouldn't y'all be trying to fly? I mean, I know that's kind of like plebiscite talk, but really, magical niggas we is. Like, y'all read The People Could Fly, right? That was one of the books y'all read when you grew up. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe you're not like us. Maybe you're like Fat Joe. And who's Fat Joe? Well, I'm glad you asked, because YouTube, this is for educational purposes only. Please do not strike my channel for this video. Please do not do anything that makes no sense, because
South Bronx, the South Bronx, 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 South Bronx, the
Now that's what's happening. All right. They look like they having a good time, right? They are having a good time. Look, New York, back then, had to have been a place to be. I mean, really, all of your favorites have a story about Harlem, about the atmosphere and the environment, the people. And if you think about it, it is New Kemet 1.0. We got New Kemet 2.0. We've got us doing us over and over and over again, but niggas don't like to learn. They don't like to take the time to understand why certain things continue to happen over and over and over again. But it is in the repetition that I'm finding that we can take a pause and pay attention to some things, and then maybe we stop repeating the same patterns. Travis Hunter probably wasn't told about Emmett Till, and I don't think that his girl or fiance or whatever the fuck she is the lady Emmett Till, but I do think that certain stories and lessons are not being taught, and when these lessons and stories are not being taught, well, then you get got, and then it's almost like you asked for it. On the video on your screen, I know it's blurry, but that's just the quality of the technology of the times. That's Fat Joe right there. And no, he doesn't have a perm or nothing. That's his hair. That's him. If you will give me a moment. And no, we're not going to be doing this all night. Some of y'all have gotten used to people who have no lives talking all night about some things. And while some things do need to be talked about and at length, it's like, do you want to force feed people? Are we stuffing them until they can't take no more and then they throw it all up, so we creating a bulimic people? Like, what type of issues are we creating in our sharing of information? Because like I said, it is World War III already. No, they're not going to announce it like that. And no, they're never going to say when we have the upper hand, when we're winning, because they don't even want to acknowledge us. We're not supposed to be here. Yeah.
Food ready?
No, and yes. On your screen right now, that's who you just saw in that video. Fat Joe. That's this guy right here. I fell down a rabbit hole of sorts. I don't know if it was on TikTok or Twitter, but it was the reels or the shorts or whatever. And it was like, what is the game changer? It's the haircut. Really, truly. When you think about it at the end of the day, a haircut will make somebody say, I think they might have something else in their mix. And it is the hairline that gives a lot of these niggas away. So, if you find that people are bald, there might be a reason for it. They don't want you to see the hairline. They don't want you to see the origin. Well, there's Fat Joe right there. I think that everybody should be allowed to talk about themselves. Like, it's you. I mean, I think that if more of us knew ourselves, maybe we wouldn't have so many problems. We wouldn't be looking to other people to define things for us. We would already know. But we're a society that goes to the doctor for checkups. We're already starting ass backwards. So if we are not looking inwards for our preventative care, then how can we expect any overlap with the other things? Neely Fuller teaches us that there are 9 areas of people activity that have been infiltrated in the worst ways, in the ways that are designed to confuse us. And this is but just one example. Remember, this is a South Bronx, 1986. I wasn't born yet. Yo, this is before I got here. This is before some of y'all got here. And yeah, we have a lot of shit talking that a lot of us do who are not from New York. We say a lot of shit. We're not from New York. I'm never going to talk about somebody's origins as much as I can talk about how I see similarities and how maybe, just maybe, if we all understand that it's easier said than done, then maybe some things get done and we can say less. But that's a whole other conversation tonight. Well, Fat Joe, this guy right here that's taking up space. You know, again, these niggas look like they having fun. Whether they Black American or not, they look like they are having fun. Does that nigga look like he's having fun?
South Bronx.
All right. And yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I gotta stop calling him a nigga. He's not a nigga. But did that nigga look like he was supposed to be there? I mean, think about yourselves. Y'all know the person who allowed the white person around y'all. And if there was no white person around y'all, shout out to y'all. Because a lot of you other niggas always had that white nigga around you. And I'm not saying that that person wasn't cool or that they didn't do things that made sense or anything. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying just the comfort level of having someone who is not you around you. Some of you niggas is just like that. And I think it's because maybe certain stories didn't get told. And yeah, Black America's erasure, it directly relates to our ties to the land, to the things that are ours that we don't even know about. You know, white people will try to get you off of a conversation like this because, oh, y'all niggas just try to niggify everything. We was kangs. No, all niggas wasn't kangs as much as, yeah, all of it used to be ours. And unless you are strong enough, mentally, spiritually, physically, you won't be able to do shit about it. The best, at best, you might be able to do is talk some shit on the internet. Now, I mean, shout out to the Black American that helped us get online and to the moon and all of everything else that y'all love and the things that make life go easier. But, you know, we got a lot of people just talking shit and I'm tired of it. And honestly, it's never going to stop because as long as there is more than one America, it's going to be us and them. Those are the Americas. You either understand that Black America is owed a debt, and the sooner it gets paid, the quicker the math starts mathing, or you are a part of America that doesn't want to pay attention to the past. You want to unburden yourself. You want to turn the page. But then, I don't know, this past election looks like y'all not only wanted to turn the page, you wanted to go backwards. Trump said that he wanted to go back to a time and then talked about slavery times. And niggas was like, hell yes, that's the nigga I want to vote for. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Respectfully, of course, because I know the Democrats have us so fucked up that y'all heard Trump say some shit like that and then you went and voted for him. I'm sorry. I know the Democrats have us so fucked up. Like, you have to do things that make sense for your ultimate survival. But aren't you tired of living a roach existence? That was another plug. You know, we talked about that, me and Dr. Wonders. We have these reality checks on Wednesdays where it's like I have a thought about things and nobody wants to have the hard conversation. But I guess, you know, it's the example of it skipping a generation. you might find that it is not your parents that give a damn, but your grandparents that do. But they're too old to be on the front line with you, and you might be too old to be on the front line too, because you've let America and assimilation fuck you up. You're out here looking like goddamn Fat Joe and Big Pun. And shout out to Big Pun, who I personally always thought was more talented. I never understood the Humpty Dumpty thing. Like I'll never understand the fat people who want to just be fat just to be fat. Sorry, that's a segue to nowhere. But back on what I was talking about, Fat Joe in 1986, that nigga is at a party and he's looking like a bump on a log. No, that's what's happening. There he is. Now, some of y'all might say that he looks like a Fed. Like I see that too. I see that too. All the way free, calm the fuck down in the chat. Look, we're not doing fraudulent business things over here. You know, people are allowed to talk about, I mean, really, people can talk about whatever they want in the chat. I'm just happy for the interaction at this point because, I don't know, YouTube is fucking with the algo. I am so cautioned to say that because I feel like I heard it so much from fraudulence that is YouTube fucking with the album, or do people just not fuck with you? Because, you know, if you've got 3,000 people who are dedicated to watching your shit 3 and 4 times in a row, then those are views. And I think maybe it is because I can see the analytics on this side of things, you know, how the numbers start adding up, the math starts mathing. You know, this year it was an exposure of niggas really don't like school. They don't like learning. And as much as we got a lot of people who know big words, they really don't want us to win either. You know, when you find that the opposition is closer than you think, well, then what do? Do you just give up? Because, well, why would you keep fighting? I mean, people have asked me that this year, and I guess since this is my last live of the year, might as well go into some things, and TBA is no authority. You know, I bought into a lot of different things with regards to Black empowerment because, well, I guess I was brought up a certain way. But just looking at Fat Joe on the screen right there, look, this is my reality from last year. And
What it do? Social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you may be watching from. Listen to us. What it do? Got my man David Dunn here.
What's going on, everybody?
Cameraman extraordinaire by David Dunn Media. Thank you. Spell it out so they can.
By David Dunn Media, LLC.
That's what's up. That's right.
all right, yeah, I know. It's going on Zoom, right? I'm trying to fuck the algorithm up. Please, YouTube, this is for educational purposes. Please don't fuck up my channel tonight because I'm playing songs that I don't own. Teddy Riley, shout out to you. You were cool as fuck. And what do you take? You take some herb. It's a very stinky shinjitsu. I don't remember what it's called. I'm gonna remember it before we end this live. But you know, if you're like super old and your ailments are happening, you could take this thing that Teddy was taking, and boom, all of your ailments go away. It's like she legit. There it is. I told you I was gonna remember. She legit. That's what he was taking. Anyway, I got it on speed because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but
That's boy Shaka, front of the band here, founder, CEO, all that good stuff. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? I had a chance to call my guy David here, and listen, man, we had an opportunity to perform with on stage.
Yes.
Teddy Riley,
Mr. Teddy Riley.
the Teddy Riley,
I can believe
the pioneer of the New Jack Swing sound. You know, multi-award. I don't know what you know. I don't know how
me awards you got.
we know. You know what I'm saying? The man, producer extraordinaire. You know, prolific musician, all of this stuff, man. And I had to call my guy David and say, hey, man, if you're available, record some footage of us. And how was that?
And I almost cursed you out because, yes, I'm available. What else am I doing to turn down? Hey, come to the rally ship in front of me. Yes, I'm there.
Yeah. You've done a lot of work with my cover, so I definitely thank you for your past work. This was something special.
Thank you, man. And the invite was crazy. I was driving down. Was like, man, wow.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, as a producer myself, this is, definitely an iconic person, that we've looked up to. He set the standard, the bar. We've tried to emulate or whatever,
It was his birthday celebration, and we were just blessed to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Front Cover Band was in the building, so.
And shout out to them. Front Cover Band was in the building. Them niggas was hitting it. They was hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. And it was really cool because, well, there was some learning going on. And damn, levels, niggas is deep. So much learning if you take time to pause and remove yourself from environments that would not want you to pay attention to some things. But
okay, well, glad you can come and get some footage of us, man. As you're looking at the footage now, this is the result of his work being there. But there was an interesting celebrity there that was also amongst the mix. Tell us about that.
She was more than a celebrity. She's a household name. It's Tashina Arnold. We all know his Pam. And
shout out to Tashina Arnold. Everybody knows her as Pam from Martin, which is a foundational Black American experience. Look, if y'all didn't like Martin, that's okay. Some people didn't like the humor. Some of y'all niggas like white people humor, and some of y'all have friends. Like y'all went and bought box sets of Friends. I'd be so confused sometimes, but if you liked it or not, I liked Martin. So I thought it was pretty cool to meet Miss Arnold, and I thought that she was definitely not a person that you would expect to be a celebrity as far as how down to earth people can be, just how real. But maybe to be a goofball, you kind of have to be real. And I don't think she's a goofball. You can't take her serious. She's aloof, but the character she plays, I'll be in stitches sometimes. And well, shout out to Dewan, another goofball that's not aloof, not somebody you can't take seriously. But damn it, if I don't be in stitches talking to these niggas or just witnessing them talk about things. But she was cool as fuck.
It's Tashina Arnold. We all know his Pam. And we got to see her in person.
I got to see her in person too. You know who y'all got to see in person? Unbeknownst to him, the Authority had no idea that there was cameras.
She was more than a celebrity
everywhere.
It's Tashina Arnold. We all know his Pam. And
all right, you guys. Look, here's something that I was fucking dying about. Do you see your screen? Are you paying attention? Pay attention.
You can do this, but you don't know who you are. I know who you are. You're gone. You quit. We won't see you again. Ha, ha, ha.
Remember, you heard it right here from Detecto Rizzo Mac. Peace.
I'm not here to shit on anybody's wealth or finances or resources. That was the same fucking suit. Y'all, I think this nigga has one suit, in his closet, in his life. And in this year of exposure, I've found that the internet is not only undefeated, but it's a place where people can really create realities. And if you have the mouthpiece, people will tune in. And when you tune in, well, what are the conversations being held? Every time I've stepped on any mic of sorts, I try to make sure that I'm not just talking for no reason. And really, if you were missing my lives, it's because a lot of the things that I want to talk about, there are already channels having conversations. Are y'all plugged in? Are y'all tuned in? my thoughts on things don't matter if niggas ain't gonna do nothing about things. And yeah, I know I've entertained and had the argument of, well, if you're not having the conversation, well, then how do people have their call to order? How do they know what to do? Shout out to Katie, who shouted to the rooftops at one point about the things happening in our state. And none of these niggas in Virginia who exist in these spaces online showed up. It literally was four niggas in Virginia gave a damn to go to any meeting talking about Black Americans' reparative and restorative justice and debt. And while we didn't have a formal task force, the governor in Virginia had tried to step ahead of the curve and appoint a task force, a commission to study slavery, because slavery is bad. And Virginia is the first colony, not the first state, but the first instance of any America is Virginia. So let's try to get ahead of it. Let's show the people that we are doing something. We're turning the page, you guys. We are unburdening ourselves by taking on more burdens, of course. Virginia being blue, shame on you. The fuck is going on? They're coming for your weapons, and y'all voted for it. But let me not tangent, because we're nearing the hour mark, and since this is the last live of the year, it is going to be longer than an hour, but we're not doing no 2 and 3 hour live. So the point, D-Griff, that's Jason. I mean, but there's no such thing as Jason. There is no Jason. The internet, while undefeated, is a place where you can be whoever the fuck you want to be. And if people don't give a damn about paperwork, then they'll never find out who you are. They'll never put things together. They'll never know that you didn't do the things that you said that you did. I've learned that people do find their tribe, but it is in the specifics. And were we being specific? And were we being sloppy or lazy? It is strange, but this is where we are. And the magic is in the words. It's in the spelling. It's in how we're using these terms that in 2024 can mean whatever the fuck you want to mean. Delineation nation. I don't know. It's got a nice ring to it, but I've still been trying to figure it out. Like, what do we call this time? This time where Black America is saying it uncompromisingly. You can't name us. And well, no, we haven't actually figured out what we're going to name ourselves. You can't name us. Fuck you. Jewels and receipts in the chat. Did you just say FJ isn't black? FJ? Who's FJ? Who's FJ? Jewels and receipts in the chat. I don't know what you're talking about. So I'd love to address your question, but maybe can you just clarify what you're talking about? Now, back to what I was talking about. On your screen is another fatback. He'd be so very upset to be on the screen like this, but well, how do you be the authority on things and you not know that at Teddy Riley's birthday there's going to be cameras? Because, well, not only is Teddy doing his own documentary, but it's a celebrity birthday party. Like, there's going to be cameras, right? Right? Okay.
We got to see her in person.
Pay him off money, yeah.
Did you see me? That's me. I don't like this.
Gina Arnold. We all know it's Pam. And we got to see her in person.
Pay him off.
Okay.
Money, yeah.
And seeing her, man, it was just, I couldn't believe it. when I said, that's Pam. It's Pam. Jesus Christ, she's right there. Her perfume was, I don't know what you was wearing. Outstanding. Whatever it was it Jesus? Was it something from the clouds? I don't know what you had on. That was outstanding.
Now, the point of this clip. I'm sorry. Oh, Fat Joe? They're saying Fat Joe. Now, Jules and Receipts. Did I just say Fat Joe isn't black? Do your ancestry homework, queen. Well, thank you for the queen, but no, we can't. We're not doing the queens and we was all kangs and shit. No. All niggas wasn't queens and all niggas wasn't kangs, but if we are going to put some respect on anything, it is going to be on actual factual facts. And Fat Joe, they move me off the screen, or at least make me a little bit smaller. How do I do that? There. Those are his parents. God damn it with the damn letters. Eve. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna get back to that. Jules and Receipts. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna talk about Fat Joe being black because, well, that's why he's the topic of the night. We got a lot of people who feel like they are the authority on things and they really should be quiet. They really should just talk about themselves. I have no issue with anybody talking about themselves. You are the authority on you. Really, truly. I mean, if there is a topic for anybody to be able to uncompromisingly say it with their chest, it should be about their experience, what they've lived, what they've done. Outside of that, how dare you? How dare you speak on someone else's existence? How dare you speak on anything? How dare you throw a rock living in a glass house? You know, Fat Joe, he thinks that he has any type of ability to say anything because of the self-inflicted wound of Black Americans' heart. Black America has this heart that everybody shits on. Everybody uses and abuses, and then, well, niggas is still asking why. But maybe you weren't taught the story of Emmett Till. Look, no cap. Can't cap on Harriet Tubman's internet, but I wasn't taught the story of Emmett Till as a child. That's a story I learned when I grew up. But it's a story I can't forget, and it's a story I will teach my minis. Because how can you not, living in a time like this, in a place like this? Especially if you're saying that Black America's owed anything. How dare you not share some things? But maybe you just want them to be babies and then kick them out when, I don't know, I guess when they aren't babies anymore. But how fucked up of you to not prepare your child, to not give them the armor that they need to fight in the belly of the beast. You're not there fighting their fights with them, but you're just going to send them out there. Pull up your panties, your big girl panties at that, and tie up your bootstraps and just work a little harder, nigga. Coming from a place that you had to dig a hole and shit in. I digress.
Touchy. All right, my thing is when you say you're Latino, why are you using the N-word? Like, are you calling me a racist? Like, do you think I'm racist for using it? Because the way the N-word offends me is when somebody says it in a racial way.
Exactly.
We feel like somebody's trying to call us a nigga.
All right, so here is where things should have gotten checked. Like, if you're going to ask the hard questions for any journalist or whatever, and I'm talking to myself here too, because I don't escape criticism. If I find that I'm not doing the things that I say that niggas need to do better, then people should call me out on it. But if you're going to ask the hard questions, follow through. When the question was posed as a Latino, so not as a nigga, but as a Latino. That's how the question was posed. And maybe you didn't hear it because the volume is a little low. Give me a second. Fix that for yous.
We might look at her like she's crazy or him, but you know, we saying it on the record. It's just a touchy. All right, my thing is when you say you're Latino, why are you using the N word? Like, are you calling me a racist? Like, do you think I'm racist for using it? Because the way the N word offends me is when somebody says it in a racial way.
Exactly.
We feel like
The way the N word offends him as a Latino is when it's used in a racial way. What? Nigga, what? Dr. Winters, nigga, what? No, because it's a different type of nigga, what? I don't know what the fuck is going on because we've already identified and he's agreed that he is a Latino. He didn't say he was an Afro-Latino because, yes, that's a thing. Sloppy Joe is a full-grown adult, and as a full-grown adult, that nigga identified as a Latino, not as a nigga. So firstly, or secondly, or thirdly, I don't know. But at this point of the conversation, shit should have gotten checked, especially if you were being interviewed by a nigga, because why are you using the word? Why are you identifying with the word? You ain't a nigga. But maybe you grew up around people like me who just use the word nigga to describe people. And if that's the case, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that is your reality, because the real reality is that you can use these words and not have any type of judgment associated with it. And absolutely, D. Griff, you took the words right out of my mouth. That nigga shaved his head so he could pass. Bad Eve. Okay, not a nigga. That man, that white man that eats beans and rice, that beaner, shout out to Cheech and Chong, who tickles my funny bone every time I watch them. They said beaner, not me. I'm just using their words. That person on your screen does not have any hair because he doesn't want you to associate with this guy. He doesn't want you to associate with that guy. And it is in the haircut that these people are finding their level up, if you will. You get a nigga barber or a person who knows how to barber on a nigga head, and, well, you turn into a magical person. They have a whole trend out here now, you guys. It's called the black wife effect, where they're taking these interracial relationships that have a white or other husband with a melanated woman, and they show how Brad Lee turns into Brad. Yeah, white to white, but it's the haircut. It's the haircut and the clothes. And you find that the swag, the posture, how they sound, a lot of the math ain't mathin', but I don't have to lay with them. So, if that's what she wanted to do with her time, let her do it with her time. We got bigger fish to fry. Really, it's more than 40 million of us. And when we have that understanding, then maybe people aren't scared to do some things that they thought they couldn't do. Teaching that old dog new tricks. But you see that dude in the background, he's just looking like a goddamn sore thumb. Oh no. Kind of reminded me of that guy right there. Now, yeah, I know. That's me. Shout out to me. Okay, no. There's Miss Arnold. There's me. There's Sam and Teddy and the Fat Back Authority. That
Jesus, something from the clouds. I don't know what you had on. That was outstanding.
So how did that make you feel, man? Just being that same room.
I had to go to God in my mind. I really did. I had to, hey, be cool, be seen, not heard, stay in the back, I didn't want to ruin anything. And shout out to Miss R for talking to everybody that approached her. They had you working. I wish I could have got a picture of, with you, but I didn't want to add.
I had to share that because I'm sorry, when I saw the little documentary clip that y'all have been sharing of Fat Joe, it just boom, instantly reminded me of people who lurk in the background. And then what's the point? What's the point of lurking in the background? If you're not going to be there and have a good time for the reasons that people are there, is it the learning? To the white people who listen to my channel and are subscribed, I shouted y'all out earlier. It is my fascination with your patience to sit here and try to figure out what the fuck I'm talking about. You don't have to, but you do. And, I see it in the comments, and I see it when you try to discourage me from having certain conversations. But, tonight's not really about you. DEI is fucking y'all up way more than it's fucking us up, because it's more of us than y'all. So, bigger fish to fry. I get it. D-Griff, you could get blocked for less on any of the platforms because, well, when you self-identify as the authority, people are going to ask you questions. But when you don't have answers to questions, well, it's going to make you not look like an authority on things. 2024, the year of exposure, while a lot of y'all saw pieces and parts of me that I didn't think you were supposed to see, exposure, a lot of things got exposed as a result of it. Knowing that Black America is no further than we are because a lot of people very close don't want us to win. When you recognize that the opposition is right next door, when the opposition is sitting at your table, well, it might make you not want to fight anymore. It might make you want to just throw the towel in. You look up, and every single which way you look, it's a person who might be fucking with you. Do you continue to fight? I mean, really, these are questions that I've had to ask myself. These are questions that I know that you guys ask yourselves, because how long is long enough? When do you throw in the towel? When is enough enough? Do you accept defeat, or do you pass the buck and say you're too old to do the things? Because I'm angry because we have to do anything. If Callie House was fighting for our reparative debt literally right after slavery, why the fuck are we still fighting it now? Mosi Sifu in the chat. Defeated is a channel that has more than 5,000 people listening live right now. But there's no solutions being brought. Only opportunities to send money and nudes and not talk about anything other than the host that's supposed to be talking about things that are supposed to advance Black America. I find that we're existing in a time where people just talk. And that's irritating. But defeated? No, not over here. Why? Because solutions. There's a lot of solutions being offered. At least try to identify them for you. You don't have to do a lot of guessing about what I'm telling you to do. Now, maybe you say that that's not how things change. Maybe you say that that's not the move. I would wager that you haven't busted a grape in a fruit fight with a sledgehammer. No, really. I'm just saying, a lot of people say that some things aren't going to work, but they haven't actually done anything. And moreover, they haven't done the specific thing that they're saying isn't going to work. I've heard in the B1 circle, Mosi Sifu, people talk about Dr. Anderson. People talk about Dr. Winters. People talk about, what was the other one? People talking about Okay, yeah, reparations. These same people will be in the vicinity of a meeting, of a town hall, of a public opinion commentary section of government talking to the people about the things that need to happen. And these people don't show up, but they are in the chats. They do click the lives. So many people watching, spectating. And yeah, you're gonna have to salute to the spectators because, damn, if we haven't learned anything, we've learned how to watch. We've learned how to watch and pay money to watch and pay more money to watch and pay more money to watch. Some of y'all are watching YouTube right now on a paid subscription because you don't like commercials. I get it. I don't pay for YouTube because fuck YouTube. If there's a commercial, then maybe that channel needs some money. I don't know. Roland. Do y'all watch Roland? I try not to, but littered with commercials. But he needs the money, even though he got all that money from Kamala. But I digress. Fat Joe is not black. That man is a whole white man. And if you look up his biography, his demographics would identify him as an American. And it is in some of these laws that are very easily changeable if people can get focused for like a moment, just like 28 seconds. See, solution. I don't know if you're going to get solutions coming from a nigga whose whole purpose of being on the internet is so that he could go to a Teddy Riley concert. Because I know y'all think that he's bumping gums and having conversations and kiki and kakaing with these people on these documentaries, but he's not. When you pay to play, you pay to play. And sometimes you overpay. And don't get me started on a nigga talking about not overpaying from a quote, quote, single mom with 5 midgets and a dog and a man. You know, like there's so many inconsistencies, but just tonight's consistency about the inconsistencies is going to have to be that there is no authority and haters going to hate. But hate as much as you want. As long as you're doing the things that make sense in the off time, I don't give a shit. It's in the same form and fashion that I don't give a shit about these interracial relationships. I don't have to lay with you. I care about the person that I have to lay up with and those things. And well, from there, you guys benefit from that because these conversations change the environment when you really think about it. And I'm not saying like, oh, Eve's conversation. I'm not talking about me, even though I am just me. I'm just saying that when you guys are open to thoughts that are uncomfortable, not only do you find that you've got the strength to do a lot of things that you didn't expect, but you can teach an old dog new tricks. It's just got to be motivated enough. But, you know, levels to the conversation. Gonna have to address people being around us who feel like it is their duty to speak on our behalf. Y'all don't like white saviors. Y'all screamed bloody murder at Sandra Bullock and the white saviors, and this was years ago with The Blind Side. But you weren't seeing the things in real life. You were blindsided. D. Griff, they can't call him all father because some of them niggas have daddies. And it's extremely disrespectful if you think about it. I mean, like I had a whole conversation with an op who, you know, she was here in my house. She's met my family and my children and stuff. And she was saying these things. And I'm like, you say you want a man, but you talking about this other nigga like he's your man and he's not your man and he's not your daddy. And even my ain't no daddy home syndrome the ass could see that it's like when you have a gay best friend as a female, and I'm talking about a faggot best friend, no alpha male, straight man, masculine man is going to want to be around you and your faggot. It's fucking weird. So, having a bunch of single moms in your chat, it makes sense. They're not going to call him all father. They do want to call him daddy though. But I think it's because they don't see the Homer Simpson. D-Grip, did you say Homer Simpson? Because every time that nigga would say look it up, I would see Homer. So when the AI gave me that audio clip, I had to clip it. I have to Admiral Reefer, if you are still here in the chat, what is TBA? Well, to be honest, it is just 3 letters that an anonymous nigga slung together, and because he's able to speak big words, people said, hey, we should listen to him. And I get it. Remember, we're dealing with people who were sitting in the back of class. I know I have to say a little soft because y'all's feeling to get hurt. When you find out that your leader is a C student at best, it's an ego strike. Maybe you don't feel so good about giving so much and the needle hasn't moved. Or maybe you feel like the needle has moved. If that is you, great. I'm just speaking from experience and having to beg about certain topics being talked about, like, Micah, Khalid, Logan, the murder of that baby, our baby, foundational Black American baby. If you're going to have 3,000 people watch your shit 4 and 5 times, the least you could do is ask them to hit this GoFundMe 3, 4, and 5 times. It wasn't until other people were having the conversation, other people like Tariq. Shout out to Tariq. I know a lot of y'all niggas don't like him right now. And niggas is so sometimesy. And it's not just niggas. Everybody is sometimesy. America has breeded a sometimesy people. So sometimes y'all fuck with people. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you like people. Sometimes you don't. It's very self-serving. But it is why I say self-inflicted wounds, they hurt the most. Because you knew better. But you did it anyway. So, But Tariq, Tariq put some acknowledgement in this direction with a tangible. And from there, well, now certain channels are going to have to talk about it. Oh, shit. Then Professor Black Truth has an essay, addresses the audience about Black death and the babies. And what about the babies? So, of course, the broke authority is going to have to try to make some money off of it. But damn, if we high value, then why are we trying to make money off the poor people? Why we can't just ask the followers to hit this a couple times, because you understand that Black America has been victimized and targeted because we're what? What is it that y'all's daddy says? They hate us because we're Black, but they're able to victimize us because we're poor. Okay, so if that's the truth, if that's reality, then you know that some of these fights are only able to happen if we have the resources. And if a person has to make a GoFundMe, then maybe they don't got the resources. Tariq having children, I would say that might be the saving grace of it all. The ability to replicate yourself into the future, because maybe you would give a damn. When you have a legacy to think about, you give a shit about what happens next. When you don't give a shit about what happens next. You would just use every moment to the best of your ability, because fleeting. And who's going to remember? We're but specks of sand in this great big clock, right? It's a lot of levels tonight. And I don't want to get lost in Plebiscite Island, because, Micah is still not here. He's dead. And his family was not able to fight this fight because resources. Black America is lacking resources. But no, we're having arguments with people who want to make this Latino, this whole white man who grew up on rice and beans, who doesn't even know how to have a good time at a goddamn party. So is he an op? Like, let's not even go there. But shit, he looks like the person who got a pass. He looks like somebody who said, don't ask me no questions about anything. I'm here with them, and they said I could be here. But I don't know. Maybe y'all just always included everybody around you. Maybe you never got stories of stranger danger. I mean, if my parents did anything, they told me that family is family and people are going to try to act like they family. Pay attention. But the comfort level, the willingness to give away our freedoms and powers to people you might think have more, are doing better, or whatever. If 2024 exposed anything, it would have been the fact that you niggas ain't ready. Because if you were, you would take back your power. You would take back your name. You would take back everything that they took from you because you're black and you said so. But in 1986, we were allowing people, as long as they didn't say nothing, maybe he was allowed to be there as long as he didn't do anything. I mean, is that a reality y'all can accept and move forward with? Because if that's the case, when you flash forward to today and you see people who look like they're not supposed to be there and then they shoot up the school or they shoot up the church, well, didn't you kind of ask for it? This nigga Fat Joe went on somebody's mic.
We might look at her like she's crazy or him, but you know, we saying it on the record. It's just a touchy. All right, my thing is when you say you're Latino, why are you using the N-word? Like, are you calling me a racist? Like, do you think I'm racist for using it? Because the way the N-word offends me is when somebody says it in a racial way.
Exactly.
We feel like somebody's trying to call us a nigga. But when we call yo, what's up, my brother? And this, so now you looking at me with racist eyes when all I do is for the culture, for my people. I treat black people and Latino.
Now he's doing a lot of us and we, but that's that black and brown talk. And I'm sorry, there's no black and brown. Black and brown is literally a bunch of niggas who don't speak a English and niggas who do speak English. That's black and brown right there. And if you really want to get into the nitty gritty of it all, this amalgamated lineage that these Spaniards, Latinxes, Afro-Latinos, it's an imaginary lineage. We've got bigger fish to fry, but no, people don't want to be who they are. They want to be something else. It is so much easier to put on the nigga cape than it is to be you. But I get it. If all of everything that people like is stolen from somewhere else, then maybe you would want to be something else. But that's a you problem, right? Why do we, society, have to deal with these people having all of these problems with themselves? But if you look at society, we are also existing in a time where you were born with a penis, but you want to have a vagina. I mean, you're going as far as to buying pads and tampons and saying that it should be a health insurance benefit, right? What the fuck?
These rumors were made by radical black racists. Let's just say that. These rumors were made by radical black racist.
Radical black racist, Joe? Are these the radical black racists? Because I'm not saying you look comfortable, because you don't. You don't look comfortable at all. Like maybe you've always been around radical black racists, and now that New York has been infiltrated with fleas, do you feel so comfortable as to say anything about Black America? But I get it. You've been around melanated people and they've given you a pass. But look, 2006, I was fresh out of high school, and this was a trending story. It tickles my funny bone every single fucking time it's shared. And it was so relevantly shared recently, but not attached to this. And that's okay. I'm going to attach it to this. Specifically to you.
Sit down, nigga.
Sit down, nigga. Okay.
Keyshawn Chambers is a freshman at Valley High School, a Boy Scout, a football player, a member of the ROTC, an honor roll student. He was hanging around his teacher's classroom door in December. The teacher told him to sit down, and the teacher says that Keyshawn used the N-word first.
And I just kind of was stunned a second. Well, then get away from the door, nigga. And I repeated the same insult because that's sort of, and I repeated the same insult.
In what reality is Keyshawn saying the N-word like that? Now, okay, it's important. These the things that I'm pointing out, I know it might seem like super tedious, but there's a reason.
Well, then get away from the door, nigga.
Nigga. Y'all think that's how he talks? Is that how he talks? Maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't, but it is the comfort level of some of these people and the caucasity of it all. Like, where do you get off having anything to say? I mean, really, remember, these are my opinions, my thoughts. I'm just Eve. But inside of my thoughts, you're here on my channel, and I have lots to say about these people and their usage of words that aren't for them. As much as I can understand, I can have an empathetic and or sympathetic heart, because I'm a person who uses nigga, and it doesn't have to be a person with melanin. But that's bad on me, because when you use it interchangeably, well, niggas like this, right? No, white guys like this, they start feeling themselves a little bit more than they're supposed to.
And I repeated the same insult because that's sort of what I've been trained to do.
The school district says that is not what they trained English teacher Paul Dawson to do.
And I'm sorry, I had to pause it there. That is the first thing that tickled the fuck out of me, because he was like, I was trained to do it. They actually didn't train you to do that. Paul, you know that they didn't train you to do that. I don't know why you would say some shit like that, other than the I'm white and I say so of it all. And if you hear things that you might hear on other channels, it's because it makes sense. You know, when Tariq said foundational Black America, and it got you niggas panties in a bunch, and yes, I'm talking about actual niggas this time, y'all were so upset because it was smooth. I mean, you were upset. The fat back was upset. Fat Joe was upset. I don't know. Anybody who has a bone to pick with a nigga trying to make their way in America, and they didn't do it the way that America said you have to do it, do niggas have a problem? Now, we're going to have to do a footnote or a caveat here, because should people have actual grievances with people? That's something else. But when it comes to Black America, if we're in agreement that Black America is owed, if we're in agreement that Black America is a specific group of niggas, like, yeah, it's a bunch of niggas over here, but no, there's a specific group of niggas that y'all have been ignoring because you don't want them to be here. So if we ignore them, then maybe they won't exist anymore. Hear no evil, see no evil. And yeah, you niggas is evil. That's why you got a target on your back. No, we're done with the benign neglect. And y'all said that in 2020. Why in 2024 are we still having the same conversations other than the ops is way close? And I'm not talking about Fat Joe, because you can look at him and see that he might not be thinking the same things. He might not be on the same page. And yeah, he might be around people, but who was around Dr. King when he was murdered? Who was around Malcolm X when he was murdered? Who are around these people that have uncomfortable thoughts with America about the things that need to happen before they get murdered? Who's right there? And then when you're ready to have that conversation, you find that Emmett Till's not so bad. James Oko, you got a name that sounds like you from all over the place. Where are you from, nigga? And if I'm all over the place, thank you for joining me on my journey and the travel that is Just Eve's Thoughts, because tonight, Fat Joe is not black. I've talked about that. TBA is no authority. Talked about that. And haters gonna hate because, well, that maths. So maybe you just have comprehension issues, my nigga. And that's okay, because, you know, the educator in me would like you to get it. And if you don't get it now, maybe, you know, hit the playback. It's there for you, as long as YouTube doesn't fuck with the channel tonight. But back to what I was talking about. This man on the screen back in 2006 was white-splaining why he should be able to use the word nigga. And I'm sorry that was such a leap for you to understand why we're talking about it, because 2006, lots of years ago, like lots of years ago. And in 2006, maybe if niggas had done something about it, we wouldn't be having a conversation about Fat Joe tonight. How is TBA not an authority? I will tell you how is he not authority. Because if you block people for asking questions, well, you're not an authority. Tell me how blocking people when they have a question makes you an authority on anything. Now, what I will tell you, the internet and technology is amazing, right? I already shouted us out for our creative spirit and ingenuity and stuff, you know, bringing the internet to fruition. But being able to look things up at the drop of a dime, you know, if you've got processing speed and shit like that, you can do that. If you don't go anywhere, you know, use a freaky ass nigga who stays your ass inside, you might have lots of time to look up lots of things that nobody has time to look up. If you've created a persona that has people thinking that you're making all of this money, doing all of these things because you know enough to ensure that people won't ask you questions, then maybe you get to ride the illusion of being the authority until somebody asks you a question. You were just on his live. And what did you ask him that you feel like he should block you for? Because I don't, or at least I don't think I said he blocks all questions. I guess I need to be very specific. If you block a question that you don't know the answer to, that would make you not the authority on things. And if you're going to call yourself the Black authority, at least bare minimum, you should show who you are. Where's your paperwork, nigga? Because if we haven't learned anything, it is that white supremacy has the resources to do lots of different things and fund and exacerbate problems inside of Black America. I mean, if you think that that's far away from what we could be dealing with, well, maybe you don't know about COINTELPRO. Maybe you don't know how deep the rabbit hole is or how dark it can be. But I mean, if you tuned into his live, I hope he gave you some solutions, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. Like I said earlier, people are going to have grievances with people because people be peopling. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. And everybody has a path to redemption. I believe that. I mean, as long as you didn't fuck no child or no animal, those people, I think there's a special place in hell for you, but can't detour into that conversation as much as we can continue to talk about the fact that in the delineation nation era, TBA was fucking mad about foundational Black America. James Oko. That nigga, I promise you that there are lots of conversations where, well, it's like you had to make that nigga be a Black American. If anything, he can be the authority on brokenness. He can be the authority on fat backness, but you can't be authority on Blackness if you're not offering any solutions. Anytime a person has said, well, what's the answer then? While I have been on the other side of this, right? I've been a person blocking people in the chat. Shame on me. Bad Eve. I was under the illusion that it is in the say less concept that we're supposed to win. But no, you niggas is retarded, stuck on stupid, if you will. And when you don't spell things out, y'all will continue to listen to a person who's never moved out of their mama's basement. Where's my people from? Virginia, nigga. Have you not been listening? I'm very honest and open about my origins. Also, you can see me. Not tonight because my camera's not on, but I mean, that's my picture. That's my likeness at the bottom left. TBA, the Black Anonymous. You want to do that? He can be the Black Anonymous. How are you the authority on things and you don't know that there's going to be cameras at Teddy Rock's party?
It's more than a celebrity. She's a household name.
How about you answer that?
We all know his pain.
There you go. There's your authority on Blackness wearing the same suit that he wore to court.
You can do this, but you don't know who you are. I know who you are. You're gone. You quit. We won't see you again. Ha, ha, ha.
Remember, you heard it right here from Detecto Rizzo Mac. Peace.
There's your authority on Blackness. That nigga has one suit in his entire wardrobe. The suit that he wore to Teddy Riley's birthday party is the suit that he wore to court when he got a guilty verdict for, Black first Black. A lot of these concepts that you hear on the Black channel, it's really Democratic talking points, but backwards. Really, truly, like just take any of them and then apply it to Kamala, and you find that they don't want you to ask questions. It is the trust me, bro aspect. And if I got big words for you, y'all niggas ain't gonna ask no questions. So, it's like the same playbook, but I digress there and just move to the fact that, if you are on the internet telling everybody that, to be high value, you have to do certain things and be around certain people and have certain things, you would expect the math to math. But like I said earlier in my show, because this is not a program, I want y'all to have your own thoughts. I want you to have thoughts. I don't want you to think how I think. But I am glad that you've tuned in to my thoughts. But inside of all of that, maybe if we just focus on what's owed to us, the thing that we can all agree on, then maybe we actually get there. But no, you've got niggas on the internet who want to not talk about being Black. I mean, will go out of their way to talk about anything else but being Black. I mean, we'll make an entire other channel about shit because, well, the Black thing is not really what I talk about, but, I know enough big words, so these niggas who think that I know more than them are not going to ask questions. It's really where you are. And just to address your last comment before I move on, because the chat interactions are cool, but damn if y'all don't make me talk longer than I'm trying to talk. Haiti. Shout out to Haiti. In a couple of days, we will be celebrating the Haitian Revolution, but the spirit, is it still there? I don't know. Last I checked, Haitians was fleeing niggas on horses. I'm sorry, not niggas, white men on horses. And I guess it could be niggas on horses. Did y'all know Border Patrol is hiring? There's a whole incentive. You get like extra cash if y'all strap for cash. Shit, if you're homeless and you are a Black American, why you don't apply for Border Patrol? Go apply to be ICE. I mean, there's an incentive right now. They give you cash money. So maybe you don't got nowhere to live, but that cash money can help you get someplace. And then you're gainfully employed. You are a tax-paying citizen. You're doing something to fuel the economy. I could definitely, appreciate moves like that. I think that's probably how you would end homelessness in America. Put the niggas on the wall, like a Jon Snow style. But winter's here already, so I guess we're a little late for that. Jose Rodriguez, I don't know if you a Black Jose or a Fat Joe type Jose, but Fat Joe is real, but he's really a Latino, and he really self-identified as that. And from there, the nigga who interviewed him did not check him. But has anybody? And I want to say that they have. If you looked at the video that I showed earlier, 1986, that nigga looking like he's not supposed to be there, that was when he used to get checked. All of them niggas must be dead, in jail, or somewhere else now, and he's just feeling very comfortable. Because to come out your mouth and say anything about how Black America decides to identify, it's just giving hater. But if you don't want to give it hater, it's just giving entitled, right? And that brings me back to my white teacher, because he said this is what he's been trained to do. They use it against you, you use it against them.
He tried to say I said it, and I didn't say it, and no one else in the class knows that I said it because I didn't.
Documents from the school investigation show that several of the students interviewed from Valley did not hear Keyshawn say the N-word first. Dawson says that students use the slang version of the N-word at Valley High School all the time. He says Nigger is a racial slur, but says that students use Nigga as often as they'd say dude or hey man. And Dawson says as much as he does not like the word, he still used the slang version to feel more comfortable with Black students.
Why is this word used so frequently? So I just don't understand it. And I'm trying to understand it. I need help. Yes, I use nigga. I've used it. I admit it. I put the H on it to emphasize it's nigga.
Nigga. No. Don't do that.
That, nigga this, nigga please.
You hear what he's doing right now? That's how he initially practiced. All them years ago when he said he was going to start saying nigga uncompromisingly because he's white and he said so, he already gave you the reasons why. Them niggas use it all the time. So fuck it, I'm going to start using it. He stood in the mirror and said, nigga this, nigga. He got comfortable with it. And y'all can't move me off of that. That nigga, that white man, that whole white man with the same fucking hair as Fat Joe stood in his mirror all them years ago. And I'm talking prior to 2006, because 2006 is when he gets caught. Keyshawn went home and said, my teacher called me a nigga. And his mama or daddy said, the fuck? And, well.
Nigga, can you lend a nigga a pencil?
Can you lend a nigga a pencil? That nigga watched Chris Rock. I'm almost certain, because, again, it is in the goofy niggas that, we find that we can live life a little bit easier. Like, life is already fucking hard. So, when we can find instances that take the weight off a little bit, it's cool. So, I mean, if that's what you like and that's what you do, say it with your chest, right? And for what it's worth, that's what he was doing. He was saying it with his chest. And what's wrong with that?
What kind of example are you setting for your students if you use a word that you don't want them to use?
Upon reflection, that's not good.
Dawson was suspended for 10 days without pay from January 9th to January 23rd, and he has to go to diversity training. He says that he's learned from this experience and hopes that others think twice before using the N-word.
I will never say any form of nigga. I'm cured of that.
I'm cured of that. Then he sound like that nigga, he's been delivered. He don't like men's no more. And if y'all believe that, then yeah, you would believe that he don't say nigga no more. But that nigga still says nigga. You can bet your last 2 cents on it. He just is very careful about the environment of which he uses the words. People evolve, they change. And evolve and change, well, that's how you survive. And then other people, well, they evolve, right? You start out one way, you end up another way, and well, the math starts mathing. You get more comfortable saying whatever the fuck you want because you can. Ain't nobody there to check you. Ain't nobody asking for no paperwork. People have gotten afraid of asking, who are your people? James Oko in the chat, you asked me where my people are from, but you got Oko as your last name of your avatar. Where are your people from? Because I'm not afraid. I'm a Black American. I'm from here, supposed to be here, and I will do the things that ensure that I'm paid what is owed. And as a default and, unintended and intended benefit, other Black Americans will benefit from my fight. It's selfless. But damn, I'm allowed to be angry about the fact that more people who say that these are problems that they have aren't actually doing anything about these things. Yeah, talking on the internet and exposing things, that's cool. That's great. But when it comes time to do things and your focus is on, Teddy Riley, Tashina Arnold, tricking off money that you don't have so that you can act like you're the authority on things. Telling people that you bailed out people during the uprisings of George Floyd when you might have bailed out one person is disingenuous. You cannot be the authority and lie. No, unless you want to be the authority on lies. Now, I'll entertain that. But no, the authority on Blackness, there is no authority on Blackness because there has been no solution to white supremacy. It is a problem that we are still dealing with. As a result of this problem, there's going to be a bunch of different people feeling like they have the solution. But like I said earlier in this show, most people who are saying that that problem isn't going to be solved with that solution have not even started the work. They've not even opened the book. But they'll talk down on a solution, something someone thought about for a while and said, yeah, this is the move. If enough people do this, this is it. Everybody doesn't have to do it, but enough people need to do it. I have been powernomicsed and codified to death with niggas saying that they understand that Black America is owed a debt. But for the amount of people screaming this one thing and saying it so casually, so uncompromisingly, like they would go outside today following a nigga who would never go outside. Oh, but I'm wrong because he showed up for his documentary. Is that what it is? Or I'm wrong because he showed up for Teddy Riley's birthday party. Oh, he goes outside when he wants to go outside. Is that what it is? Because I'm sorry, the authority on Blackness, if you're going to identify as such, you would have to be the target, you would have had to accept that mantle and said, yeah, I'm the target. Shoot me. I can appreciate Tariq has always been like, I'm not a leader. Y'all niggas listen to me if you want to, or don't. I might joke your hairline. You might have some ashy feet. You know, sometimes y'all niggas make it way easy for him to clown you. And, you know, clowning is a Black American thing. You know, if you either feel the love or you don't. But for all of us to have been at one point in time called an African booty scratcher and none of us had actually stepped foot on the continent, I mean, you're going to have to just give some grace where grace is owed. And just accept the fact that, again, everybody ain't going to like everybody. And personal grievances aside, if you are in agreement with the one thing that matters, Black America is owed a debt, then do the things that make sure that we are paid the debt. Do the things that ensure that you don't have to continue having these conversations. Do the things that make sense. But I find that people follow people who are not doing things that make sense. People who are not the authority, speaking very authoritarianly on topics that they probably should be quiet about. If anybody should be allowed to speak on anything, it should be about their experience. Because you are the authority on you. Point blank, period. If there is an absolute truth, it is that. That's why the doctor asks you all those questions before they give you treatment. They don't know what the fuck. They don't know you. You know you. So if you don't tell them what's going on with you, they can't treat you. See the trick bag? But that extends across all of these environments that Neely Fuller talks about. All of these areas of people activity that you niggas say that you are so familiar with, but you won't make the connection. You won't pause and see the overlap. Lucky for you, there are people who have time. Tonight, I had some time because, you know, Fat Joe saying that foundational Black authority, you know, fucking up the acronym, you know, knowing that it's foundational Black America. Just having anything disparaging to say about Black people, that's problematic. And no, he wasn't ready for niggas to have something to say. I mean, the block feature that Twitter kind of took away and gave back and then took away, it exposes the cowardice of these people who talk so big. But maybe you needed to know. But if you won't do anything with the information, well, World War III thanks you for your sacrifice. Because you're either going to be on the side of righteousness, speaking truth to power by any means necessary, or you're going to be them other people. End up a casualty. Because why not? Tonight, Fat Joe knows that there is no leader of our lineage. Fat Joe also knows that a lot of you niggas are so contrarian that you would rather us lose than agree with a nigga you don't like. And that's a problem. Because in problems like that, you can have a fat back saying that they're the authority on things, but has never been outside, would put people in harm's way because they don't want to go outside, would have people thinking and aligning ideals and ideologies with some of our ancestor teachers, master teachers that I feel like they'd be rolling in their graves every time someone likens the fatback authority to Khalid Muhammad. That nigga rolled in his grave. Because how dare you? How dare you be the first Black to be convicted of revenge porn in Virginia and be given any type of reverence or respect or put in the same sentence as me. Fuck you. But I can't speak for Khalid Muhammad. I'm not him. I'm just saying, like, just what I've learned, I don't know that he would like to be likened to a nigga like that. But y'all don't ask questions. There is no paperwork check because you listen to a person who doesn't want to do a paperwork check, right? If you check everybody else's paperwork, then maybe people don't check yours. 2025, if you thought 2024 was a doozy, well, I hope you're ready. Because after the exposure, what do you think happens? Do you think that the pests, the rodents, the critters, the fleas, do you think that they get to exist in an environment where they've been exposed? Or is there an eradication? I don't know. Maybe there's some dirty niggas here. Trump said it best. Some of y'all came from shitholes. And I don't mean that disrespectfully as much as if you had to dig a hole and take shit in it, you come from a shithole. If you come from a place that doesn't have running water, you come from a shithole. And how dare you try to be a goddamn doctor and you don't have adequate plumbing in your home village because of, racism, white supremacy that you haven't done nothing about. But you a hard worker. Fat Joe talking about blackness is a self-inflicted wound of Black America, but we're healing. We're scraping the scabs and we're getting to the healing. But again, if you can't or won't acknowledge and accept that some of the ops are a lot closer than you want them to be, then you will continue to have problems. You will continue to be a person that says, why after all of this work hasn't the environment changed? How much longer do we have to march? The first nigga who asked that should have known that there was a trick in there. How much marching? And was it the marching that changed things, or was it the consequences that would come after the marching? And then, oh shit, didn't we all just learn that Dr. King was not really about that marching life? Oh, that's when they got him. Oh, that's when they interrupt the story. When we have an accountability moment, we say, oh no shit, we fucked up. Niggas, that's not the direction you were supposed to be going. You're supposed to be going the other direction. My bad. Not only do we have to eat it, but the accountability moment gets missed. And you niggas will just move on to the next thing. The next person who's comfortable speaking about us. When you should be comfortable speaking about us. Because aren't you us? But again, exposure. Kendrick said it best. Some of y'all niggas, y'all not like us. And I guess once more of us get comfortable with that one aspect of the matrix that is America, well, maybe things will change. Until then, we'll be dealing and we'll be doing and we'll be talking and people will be bitching and crying and groaning and moaning and saying, well, Joe Biden just forgave 5 million people's student debts. How many niggas had to go to college to be told that they needed to work harder and go into so much debt to not be on that list of student loan forgiveness? They didn't go into the public service job arena, because it's only a specific group of people who are getting the loan forgiveness. No, you couldn't have gone to school for something that interests you. If you weren't going to give back, well, you don't benefit from that. But again, like I said, it's the levels for me, because y'all can listen to a nigga talking about tangibles. You can listen to a nigga talking about cut the check. And that same nigga ain't cut the check. That same nigga owes money. Kamala Harris ended her election cycle owing money and she raised $1 billion. The flat black authority said that you don't overpay and ended up paying lots of money for a lawyer to lose a case because justice.
And we got to see her in person.
Yeah.
People be telling you who they are in real time. And then we choose to ignore it because, well, people be peopling. You can't be judging people so hard. Let them live, let them do them, let them be. No. If you're going to have a mic and you're going to talk about black anything, you better be talking the right thing. Shout out to my man who's always been consistent about, the pivot. It's me. Black women, it's stupid. I know. And I hate that I have to say this out loud, but it is in the fuck up moments that you can see how things would be drastically different if you hadn't stepped your big-headed ass in the way, right? Maybe you saved someone from an ass whooping and maybe they really needed the ass whooped, right? Maybe they never learned the lesson because your big-headed ass was in the way. Or maybe some ass whoopings don't need to happen because, well, people can see the future. Maybe these big words that people have learned have allowed them the intuition to put some things together. So, yeah, have to talk about black. Goddamn name myself the Black Authority. So, yeah, topics like Fat Joe sticking his fat neck in things that have nothing to do with him. Yeah, that's something we're going to have to talk about. When other personalities in the environment and arena are having a conversation about something, yeah, I might have to talk about that. But what about the things that aren't going to get clicks? What if our good sister Taisha had never made a video about Ozone Wallace? Would y'all know who Ozone is? You wouldn't, because the fatback wouldn't talk about it. And she only got like 20,000 subs. Imagine having 100,000 subs being afraid of a person with 20,000 subs because they were on it. But, you got to use the people around you if you want to win 48 Laws of Power style. Written from my mama's basement because I feel like a loser style. Y'all really should do more paperwork checks when you align yourselves with these ideologies because, I think when you peel back the layers, most of y'all would remove yourself from the toxicity of it all. But right now, you're in this illusion. This illusion of, you can't talk about things because, well, how stupid are you to talk about things?
If you talk about anybody other than me, you will be banned. I am the authority. This is the only school where you can get the information that you can use because I am the authority and I said so.
I mean, some of y'all niggas, y'all fucking cried when you got banned because you just asked a simple question. And I'm sorry. If I ever banned anybody from that nigga's chat, I'm sorry. I'm just doing my job. But you see how that is leveled? That was super simple. It's the internet. But you got cops saying that. Oh, I didn't intervene with that police brutality because, he was doing his job and, I was doing my job. And I'm sorry that nigga baby got murdered. I'm sorry that family's fucked up. I'm sorry. But I was just doing my job. Y'all use that excuse for, the war on them people over there in them sand countries, but you won't use it on yourselves. But it's okay. It's because you've been tuning in to the authority on things. But when you're the authority on brokenness, well, maybe that's why the audience is still broke. If you are
I
doing
am the
things
authority and you need to send me your cash apps. Also, you need to send me your nudes. Also, if you don't want to do this, I'm going to have to ban you from my chat.
I know, I'm doing a little much, but I'm just saying, when you're around something for so long and it becomes a mantra, it's real easy to fall into the trap of the math has to math. But like I said earlier tonight, we have to be very specific because the words matter. The energy behind the words matter. And as much as I hate it that niggas say and look it up, I don't know if we need to be looking up 7-letter, 10-letter archaic words and expressions and terms as much as maybe etymology. Maybe you should know that it comes from a nigga. Maybe you should know the origins of words. But to sit here and act like the audience who's decided to listen to me doesn't know things doesn't sound like the authority. Sounds like a dictator. Sounds like a baby. Listen to me. Wah, wah. If you don't listen to me, you can't listen to me. What? Okay. I'm sorry. Tonight, like I said, we're not doing this all night, so I guess if you didn't know, Fat Joe is not black. TBA is no authority. And I know, you haters is gonna hate, but that's okay because spectators are necessary. It makes the wins that much sweeter, butter. And if you want to be black first, be black first, but be very specific because you might end up being the first black. And you know what they say about the first black.
You can do this, but you don't know who you are. I know who you are. You're gone. You quit. We won't see you again. Ha, ha, ha.
Remember, you heard it right here from Detecto Rizzo Mac. Peace.
Thought I was going to end it, right? I had one more thought. The Tariq hate. Who the fuck cares what a black American has to say about themselves? Unless maybe you niggas is jealous. And I've had some thoughts about the Tariq hate for a little while, and again, personal grievances and things that maybe you want to see happen that haven't happened. It's a lot of drama. At the end of the day, you don't cross them lines for me, we Gucci. And I know people might say, Eve, well, that's why you haven't actually gotten the justice that you seek, because you just allow certain things to happen and you're not doing anything about the things. Fine. Just know that I accept humanity, and I accept that none of us have figured out the solution to white supremacy. So inside of that, get your money. Entertainer, singer, actress, athlete, whoever the fuck, lawyer, teacher, police officer, all employees. When you step outside of that matrix and you decide that you want to do something for self, no, haters are going to hate. But does that mean that you stop? Does it mean that you just go back to doing the same thing that everybody else is doing because, well, they're mad that you're doing the things that you're doing? I want to address this one time. And as much as I know y'all have been having lots of conversations about this, I just want to do this real quick. Trademarks. There's a lot of trademark lawyers in the Black American internet sphere. And I just had no clue. I just didn't know that you niggas was in trademark law. But since we're here, let's have a conversation about trademarks. Now, you type in Foundational Black America in the TM search of the USPTO, which is the official and only trademark database that you can use that has all of the active and inactive, dead and live trademarks and patents. You go on there and you type in Foundational Black American or Foundational Black America, and yeah, you come up with some things. 8,476 results, but all of those aren't Foundational Black America. They're just derivatives of and variations of, but let's just go through it. First one, it's dead, abandoned, for streaming of audio, visuals, and audio-visual for Tariq Nasheed. The next one is live and registered to Tariq Nasheed. Let's check it out. So the service mark is registered 2023. And essentially, as long as you pay the dues, at least from what I've learned with our own trademarking and stuff, as long as you pay the dues and nobody else is trying to claim it, you own the thing that you've asked to be associated with you, right? Now, from there, people keep saying that FBA and Foundational Black America is not a lineage because of the trademark. Where in this paperwork do you see anything about a lineage? Because when I did the additional research, like the extra clicks, I get it. It's a lot of clicks and a lot of reading. And I know y'all don't read for pleasure as much as you read because somebody told you to. So I'm telling you to read, do some additional research. Providing a website featuring information on historic figures, organizing live events, educational and entertainment services, providing live motivational and educational speakers. Okay, did you see lineage there? Did you see we're trademarking the lineage there? You didn't? I didn't either. But okay, maybe I'm being obtuse. Maybe. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't have a biased bone in my body. I've got lots of biases. None of them are racist. Fat Joe, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Until we own and operate systems, plural, Black America cannot be racist. Why? Because it's systemic. It is a system. So, bigoted? Yes. Prejudiced? Sure. Discriminatory? Okay. Foundational Black America discriminates against people cosplaying. Absolutely. But are we a hate group? No. Do we go out en masse and start murdering whitey? No. When? When has that happened? It hasn't. Shut the fuck up. Now, okay, I went through all of that with the trademark thing just so that you guys can kind of see what all is involved in a trademark. But since you guys think that certain terms are untrademarkable, let's look up. Oh, I can't spell. How do you spell Puerto Rico? I can't spell. Let's see. Okay, Puerto Rico. I guess that is how you spell it. First one, dead, abandoned. Second one, dead. Both of these are for, look at the goods and services. This one is namely thongs. This one is t-shirts and baseball caps. Again, Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico. People are saying Puerto Rican is a lineage, right? This is an identifier, racial lineage identifier, even though it is made up. If you have done any sort of learning or have listened to Clyde, made up lineage. But okay, Puerto Ricans, that's a term that people want to be associated with. And oh, by gosh, by golly, did people trademark Puerto Rico? Okay, I thought you couldn't trademark a lineage because you can't, you stupid motherfuckers. Dr. Winters, I did that for you. Did you hear it? The motherfucker, I did that for you. Because lineages cannot be trademarked. If the day happens where someone puts a term on a piece of paper and takes it to the trademark office and the reasons why has anything to do with the lineage, they're going to say no. Don't believe me? Just watch. Okay. Bruno Mars. That's another cosplayer, but I don't know if he says that he's black as much as I think he says he's an Afro-Latino or something. Let's look up African American, right? Oh no, what? Is that another lineage identifier that's been trademarked? Okay, yeah, and the first two are dead, which means that if you want it, you can go get it. You just got to pay $375. But newspaper, goods and services. This is African American trademark for a newspaper. This is African American clothing trademark, African American potato chips, pre-cooked chicken, pork, and beef. Oh, but I thought you couldn't trademark a lineage, Eve. Because you can't, dummy. But you can trademark words, and you can trademark words to associate themselves with goods and services. Reading is fundamental, but I get it. Y'all were educated in America, and you were educated in their system. The Department of Education does need to be defunded. In the same form and fashion, the police need to be defunded. Shits ain't working the way they want and need them to work, so maybe we just get rid of it and do something else. Look at all these African American trademarks. You hating ass, pocket watching ass niggas. You want to make some money, be a boss. Make your own term. Shit, if you really want to get froggy, take foundational Black America. You can do that. Associate it with a good and service and watch the money trickle in, y'all. And Fat Joe have told America that Tariq Nasheed is making millions off of stupid niggas. No, but there are stupid niggas. And if he's making millions, then great. Shout out to him. I wish more niggas was making millions. Maybe y'all would stop watching other niggas' pockets if he was making millions, right? You know, we're going to have to make some of these things align, because outside of them aligning, what are we doing? Last one. Let's look up Italian. And the little squiggly line keeps making me think that I'm not spelling it right. Italian. Okay. Italian, another lineage identifier. We've got Italian Pod 101, Italian Foods, Italianette, Italianissimo, Italianini. Okay, so it looks like just straight up Italian is available if you have a good or service that you can associate with that word. That's available. Pay the money. Attach your good and service to the brand and sell some shit. I mean, I don't understand why so much hate other than the fact that you niggas just don't like niggas making money. But full circle moment, the ops is closer than you think. And until y'all are ready to have an uncomfortable conversation, you're going to be stuck on stupid for a long time. But I don't want to be stuck on stupid with y'all. And I don't want you to be stuck on stupid for a long time. So constructive conversations never last all night. And until our next conversation, y'all have a beautiful night, a happy holiday, and well, good night.